Hi everybody, my name is Lisa Jacobson and I am on the board of the American Migraine Foundation. I'm also the founder of the Daily Migraine, which is a group online I started maybe about 10 years ago. So happy to have you guys. The idea here is this is a discussion. I'm going to be seeing you when you join. Give me questions, feedback, anything you want. But we're here today to discuss migraine and the ER or the ED. The emergency room or emergency department. This is sponsored by American Migraine Foundation, which is an amazing organization. Just go to americanmigrainefoundation.org and you will see the huge amount of information, real information, library research, studies. I mean, there's everything on there. It's super legit, and I just love the American Migraine Foundation, which is why I'm doing this. So, I'm one of you. I've had over 9,000 migraines in my life, and certain times I've banished them, certain times they've gotten better, certain times they've gotten worse. But as the founder of the Daily Migraine, we had thousands and thousands of people when we did lives where these kind of lives where people sort of crowdsource solutions. So I'm here as sort of the receptacle and the keeper of all those ideas that people have had. I want to say up front that anything that we say here is just my thought or things I've heard to help you guys. It's not, you have to run everything by your doctor. And I'm not just saying that, okay? That's really important because the first thing to know is that migraine is a pretty debilitating disease, as we all know, that is unique in every person. So if you say to me, well, how'd you get rid of your migraine? Well, going to be different from what works for you. But the great news is there are tons of things that work, and anybody who has gotten better or incrementally better or and getting better is usually either the frequency of your migraines, the duration, or the severity. So for those things are different in all of us. So the things that make us feel better are different and in different combinations. Anyway, please tell me where you're from. Ask me any questions, give me any comments. I really want to interact with you guys. All right, so let's get to migraine in the emergency room. It's a huge topic for people with migraine because it's very complicated. So let's first talk about when you should go to the ER when you have headache or migraine. Okay, so this I've gotten from the American Migraine Foundation's website, actually, because I am not a doctor. I'm a fellow patient, and you again have to check with your doctor, but let's just dispense with that. You know that you have to check with your doctor. Okay, so if you suddenly get a headache that reaches its peak, like a 10 out of a 10 in 1 to 2 minutes, you should go to the ER. All right. Secondly, if you have really odd symptoms that you've never had, you should go to the ER or consider going to the ER. And then my favorite, which is if you have a migraine that's just so bad you can't take it anymore, like you literally cannot take it, that's when you should go to the ER. So those are three main reasons to go to the ER for migraine, okay? Hi, everybody. Hi, Julie. Hi, Sophie from Toronto. Where are you guys from? All right, so that's why to go. But the problem is what happens when you get there. All right, so there are a number of challenges about the emergency room, and it's not all the fault of the people who work at the emergency room. In a lot of ways, it's the nature of migraine. It's the fact that people don't understand migraine and headache, and it is a number of other things which we're going to talk about now. All right, so the first challenge when we go to the ER, and guys, tell me if you have this experience, is that we're not taken seriously. Okay, it's a woman's disease. And by the way, for you men, 10% of people with migraine are men. It's not a woman's disease. And when they say a woman's disease, that's disparaging. That usually means we're exaggerating or we have no pain tolerance. You all know that we have some of the highest pain tolerance in anywhere, okay? Julie's saying she can't go to the ER in the UK the way things are right now. They'll laugh you out of the building. All right, well, there you go. There's our first customer saying what happened to her. Hello, Dawn in Connecticut. So Yes, they don't take you seriously. They have disdain. A lot of people, not everyone. Okay. Second really important thing is when we have migraine, we cannot think or explain, especially if, depending on whether it's before the migraine's coming on, you have a terrible migraine or you're coming down or whatever. There's migraine fog, right? So we can sound like we're drunk or there's something wrong with us or we're, bad narrators of our condition. All right, so that's the first issue. The second issue is that people are not trained in the ER or the ED to understand migraine. There's someone in my immediate family who works in neurology clinic in the Bronx. And what he has told me is that 90% of people come in for migraine or headache. And often the doctors there are real doctors. They're residents, which is fine. They just finished medical school. That's fine. But many of them, especially in hospitals that are underfunded, are not neurology residents. They are residents often for other things. So if this is their first day, which has to happen, or their first week or their first month, they don't really know anything often about migraine. Not every place, but I'm telling you that the experience of this family member I have. So if you'd like, you can say, what kind of a doctor are you? You may not be happy with the answer. But if you're not happy with the answer, what I would do is ask for the neurologist on staff. Because even at this hospital, there's one or two. Okay. Second of all, because of the opioid crisis, which we all understand, if you think about it, if somebody is drug seeking and wants opioids, what's the thing that everybody sort of has heard of? Headache. Oh, I have a bad headache. So they go in and they screw it up for the rest of us. And they're asking for drugs because they have a terrible, quote, headache. Okay. That has really been a problem over the years to the point where the emergency departments are often afraid to give any kind of drugs or any kind of drugs that are strong to people with migraine who really need it. Okay, that's number two. Number three, when you go to the emergency room, they don't know your history. And you are certainly not in a position to sit there and calmly explain it. Okay, so that's a real negative unless they're part of, a hospital system that you're used to. So that's another, check in the box against why the ER is an issue for us. Next, the ER, as we all know, most of us have been there at least once, is just the quintessential horrible place for somebody who has migraine. Okay? The lights are so bright. The sounds are really loud. There's a lot of motion, a lot of yelling, and there's a very long wait usually, sometimes all day long. So it's not the place for us if we don't really need to be there. But I'm not talking to anybody here who would go to an ER if they didn't need to be there, right? Okay, next. Let's talk about how you can make the ER experience good for you. Because here's the thing, my fellow people with migraine. Nobody really understands migraine unless they have a migraine. We all have friends or family who had one migraine or one headache and said, oh my God, how do you live with this, right? So it's up to us, because it's an invisible illness, to educate people. Now, how do you do that when you're in excruciating pain? That's the trick here. But I think that the first thing is for us to own that it's up to us to get the experience we need out of the ER. It's easy to just blame them, but then you're going to come out and feel really bad, or maybe worse than you did when you went in. Okay? So what can you do? And I promise you, if you do some of these things, you can make this experience much, much better for you, where hopefully they can take the edge off your migraine or help you get rid of it. Okay, I'm looking at my notes. One is, hopefully you have a migraine doctor. That could either be your family doctor, that could be a neurologist, or I hope, and this is not always the case, especially all over the world, but if you at all have access to a headache clinic, usually you have to be near a city in a fairly, developed country. But if you have access to a headache clinic, that is all that they do. And that was a game changer for me when I was able to find a headache clinic. Okay? So whoever your headache migraine doctor is, the first thing is to have a rescue plan. Okay, you have your normal plan, your day-to-day plan. Maybe you take a preventative. Maybe you do all holistic things, whatever it is you do to keep it at bay. But when you have a breakthrough that's a 9 or a 10 out of a 10, and you need to go to the emergency room, you need a rescue plan. Okay, that's what we call it. And that's a plan where you kick into high gear and have everything ready to do so you don't have to go to the ER. All right? How do you create that? You speak to your doctor and you say, what happens when I have a breakthrough migraine? That's so awful that I can't take one more minute where I am and I have to go to the ER. I feel like I'm going to die. Okay, so that's really important. You have to have those medications with you. You have to have those items with you. Anything that you need, and it has to be right there. And you have to do it. You have to plan that when you don't have a migraine or when you have a light migraine, like right after this Instagram Live is over. Okay? The other thing that I want to strongly suggest, hopefully push you to do, is I have a migraine bag. I have 2 of them. I have one at work and one in my car. And we talked about this last week. Everything is about preparation with migraine, and most of us just pray it's going to go away, or maybe it's gone for good, and we sort of know it's not, and then it comes back, roaring back. Well, if you can prepare in advance, you have such a better chance of it even taking a migraine that's an 8 down to a 6. We all know that's huge. That's functional. That's maybe you can drive home, or maybe you can put your kid on the bus, right? Or maybe you can get to work and at least pretend you're working, right? I'm a boss, so, I know people do that all the time. So, yes, what goes in your migraine bag? Here's what's in my bag. I want to have my migraine medication, my abortive medication that will shut down a migraine. I want to have some extras of my regular medication in case maybe you're on a plane and the flight is delayed and you don't have enough medication. I want to have water in there. I want to have something to eat. So I have those little peanut butter packets. Some people have ginger chews. Okay. I have lots of stuff. I have a box here, as you guys know. And my box has tons of stuff that I use and collect and give you ideas. I always, because I need ice, I always have one of these disposable ice packs, and I hit it and I put it wherever I need to put it. Even if it's a really hot day and I don't have a migraine yet, because that's my trigger, I'll put it like here or in my pants or wherever I need to put it to, avoid it. What else? I put in my migraine bag this little thing called Migra Stick. I'm not endorsing any products, by the way. It's just stuff I picked up. It's like a mint essential oil thing that has a roller ball. Put it here, not in your eyes. Some people put it, here. Sometimes if it's bad, I just rub it in where my hair is. Anyway, here's another thing I have is a fan that I got from Amazon. This is unbelievable. No matter how bad your migraine is, the batteries are dead. Okay, but you hold it and at least it can get you to where you need to go, which is the ER. Anyway, I have a lot of stuff in here, and we do that on the other lunches. But right now, we're talking about the ER. So you have a what I call a rescue plan with your doctor. Okay, that's all set in your house. You also have these migraine bags, one in your car, so when you have to go to the ER, you grab it. Okay, those are some basic things, but these are the advanced things. You ready? Okay. In the ER, they don't know your history. They don't really understand migraines often. They may not even be a neurologist or any kind of doctor that's ever dealt with headaches. So I strongly suggest that when you're doing the rescue plan with your doctor of what you're going to do so you don't have to go to the ER, just in case the rescue plan doesn't work either and you do have to go to the ER, have your doctor write a letter or, something, okay, that says, Lisa is my patient. She has had migraine for 36 years or however long I've had it. These are the medications that she is on. And by the way, bring a list of your medications. Always keep that in your migraine bag or your rescue bag or whatever, okay? And keep it updated. She has migraine. This is what she takes. If she comes I have told her to come to the ER if she has a migraine that is completely debilitating. And this is how I would like you to treat her. Give her XYZ cocktail. If you don't have that, give her, I'm not a doctor. The doctors know what to say. And then the doctor has his or her contact information. And if that doctor's not available, there's a doctor on call. So this way, if your rescue doesn't work, I know that I actually have never gone to the ER, and boy, have I been close, because I've had 9,000 migraines. Twice I was in Boston working, unrelated, and in a hotel. And I, like you guys, thought I was going to die. And I paced and I paced back and forth. And I went in the shower and I sat on the bathroom disgusting floor and I writhed around. It's really, really rough. And when it gets to that point, you want to be sure you got your ducks in a row and you pull the trigger. Okay? So the next thing you have to have, if you can, is a person. It's your buddy, okay? This person knows that if you have to go to the ER and this person is around, they hop in the car, they take you to the ER, and they're your advocate. Just hand them the stuff. Hand them the letter and the rescue plan and your migraine bag, and then you can just focus on getting through minute to minute, okay? Guys, if you're just joining, I'm Lisa Jacobson, and we are talking about migraine in the ER. If you hear anything you like, please ask your doctor. It's really critical. And I'd like this to be a conversation. So please, I can see all of you as you're coming on. Please ask me questions. I'm a fellow migraine patient, migraine person. Ask questions, give comments, help other people, list resources you have. Anything. And of course, the American Migraine Foundation is the greatest organization. They have everything on that website and they're there for us. That's why I'm involved. Okay, so next, list of meds. What else did I write? The advocate. Okay, here's another thing. When you go to the ER, if they don't really understand what migraine is, they may give you a CT scan or a lumbar puncture. I don't know if you've ever had one, but that is one of my least favorite tests, okay? And certainly not with a migraine. So if you are coming in with very unusual symptoms, that's a different thing. Maybe they have to do that. Maybe they want to be sure that you didn't have a stroke or any of these kind of really extreme things. But if you know that you went in there because you just can't deal with this awful migraine, but it's the same as all the other migraines you have, just worse, you have a right to forego that option. So you can refuse it, and you need to know that you can do that. Okay? So if you bring your migraine bag, you first try, to use the, what did I call it? The rescue plan. But you still have to go to the emergency room. Okay, you have your person who's ready to go, who understands your whole situation. You hand them your migraine bag. You hand them your letter from the doctor. They take it. They drive you to the ER. Maybe they leave you in the car with the air conditioning on or whatever it is that you need. Some soft music. Here, I have this everywhere. This is like rose water. Okay, some people don't like it. It's great for me. I just go like that if I'm somewhere, okay? Maybe it seems silly to people without migraine, but you guys understand. It sort of calms me down. Some people use jasmine. Some people use, you got to do what you got to do, no matter how silly anybody else thinks it might be. Okay? The letter from the doctor is very key, Health Mama. That's right. So now you're there. You're staying in the car in the air conditioning. Your person, or in the heat, or whatever it is, your person went in and told them what's going on with you. Your person gave them a copy of this letter from your doctor about that you are a legit, not a drug seeker, you're a legit person with migraine. You already are being treated, explaining that this doctor told you to go to the ER and that is why you were there, if you have a 9 or a 10 out of a 10 or whatever your number is, and how to treat you. That is critical. So once you do that, and then let's say the wait is 2 hours and you're just like dying there in the car, at least you know your person is in there advocating for you. You know, the ER, as we said before, it's full of loud sounds, banging, yelling. The lights are horrific, and nobody really takes migraine seriously. Can't imagine, can you, a worse environment for somebody who feels like they're about to die of migraine? These are great tips. Hi, Siaki. Good to know how to navigate an ER. Yeah, that's why I wanted to do this. This particular Instagram Live is actually shorter. Last time we did migraine hacks, and then after that we did parenting with migraine. Next week, by the way, we're doing travel with migraine because I am going away for a couple of days, and I'm going to show you what I pack, what I do, and again, how to make whatever situation you're in a success. So let me go back to preparation. You can just do this lunch with Lisa and go about your business. And then one day you're going to have a 9 out of a 10 and you won't be ready, right? Because who wants to think about it? Who wants to prepare for an awful situation? But for the person who does prepare with all these things that we're talking about, you, my friend, are going to have as close to a successful experience in the ER as you can get. Besides choosing the right ER, who knows? You know, which ER is better than another ER. You just don't know. And by the way, they call them EDs now, emergency departments, not emergency rooms, because they're big departments, which makes it even harder. So yes, plan, prepare. Whether you're going on a trip with migraine, you're taking care of your kids with migraine, you're trying to go to work with migraine, you got to go to the ER with migraine, all the things that all of us have to do to function with migraine that nobody else understands. And while we're talking about this, okay, I'm having Sarah. One right now, it's lasted since Friday. I'm so exhausted and the medicine doesn't work. What can I do? Well, I'm going to say there are probably 300 things you could try because I have a list that goes on forever that I have been keeping since 36 years ago when I started getting my migraine. I had 9,000 migraines. I still do, but they're way better. I don't even consider them anything right now. That doesn't mean that they're not going to come back. I went 5 years and I was so good, and then they just came roaring back, and then I just got past feeling deflated and sad, and I started working on it again. So if you're asking me what you can do, this is what I would do. I would start a list based on everything you're hearing here. Watch the last 2 that we did. I have a box of goodies. Why don't I pick it up for you, Sarah, and everybody else here? And guys, please keep asking me questions. There are drug and medication solutions, right? I'm not here to talk about that because I'm a patient. But I will tell you that when I started getting migraine, 34, 36, I don't even remember, I have to count after this, years ago, there was really nothing. In fact, there hasn't been too much until just a few years ago, like 2, 3, 5, 4. We were treated with drugs that were being used for other things, like anti-seizure drugs. How about Botox that was being used for wrinkles, right? And what would happen is you'd use these drugs off-label, and who even knew if they worked or not? Well, this, according to many migraine docs, headache docs, this right now is the golden age of migraine in terms of the medications out there. Now, I'm not talking about whether they're affordable or whether you can get them in other countries, because people here are, from everywhere. But for those who can or who have access, that's a swath of you. I really suggest going to a headache center. If you can't go there, go to a neurologist. If you can't go there, you go to your family doctor. And, do your research on Google. If people in your life, your doctors don't know. I think the most important thing, and I'm older than most of you, because like I said, I've had these 34 years. I'm actually 63. And the thing is, I have learned that instead of beating myself up, because this is not my fault, I got this from somebody else. My daughter now has some migraine issues. She got that from me. Someone will probably get it from her. I'm not beating myself up does nothing. Preparing does everything. Why wouldn't we do everything possible to make the experience, to either take the edge off the migraine, or better yet, reduce the severity, the frequency, or the duration of our migraine, right? So let's say, I know there was a time I was getting 30 to 31 migraines a month, right? If I could reduce that to 25, I call that a success. Then I have 6 days I can function. Then if I can also reduce the severity from 8 every day to a 5, okay, now I'm cooking, right? I'm moving the right direction. So one of the things I want to impart to you is that getting rid of all of your migraines that you have, okay, that could be a recipe for failure, okay, because it is an illness. It's a disease. It's an invisible illness. Some people get rid of them for good. They change their diet. They do something. They have one trigger maybe, or a drug totally works, or something else, right? But for many of us, our triggers are additive. I'll just use me. So my trigger for sure from day one has always been light, glare, and heat. The second I'm overheated, so I don't own any pullover sweaters because I can't get that off fast enough. Okay, so, but then on top of that, there's hormones. And then on top of that, there's the stress of having kids or your job or your personal life, right? So each thing that you can sort of work on to reduce, and there's some things you can't reduce. I cannot reduce when it's sunny, but I can wear polarized sunglasses. I can wear a hat, and I can stay inside in the air conditioning. Am I fun? I think my friends would tell you that they would like to travel with me and have me hike and go on a bike. I cannot. If it's over 75 degrees and sunny, I will have a migraine. So, you all have your stories. So let's see what else somebody's asking. Guys, just ask me whatever you want. What will they do in the ER if you show up with a horrible migraine? Well, if you go back after this is over, I gave a lot of options of what you can do. But the most important thing, I think, is to get a letter from your doctor that tells them what to do for you when you have a horrible migraine and legitimizes that you are not a drug seeker who's just saying you have a headache to get opioids, which they don't really do anymore anyway. Your doctor will tell them what to do. And hopefully your doctor will give them an option 1, 2, and 3, depending on which ER you land in. Okay? What else, you guys? Ask me anything you want. Again, I'm Lisa Jacobson. I've had over 9,000 migraines. I'm a patient advocate. I am not a doctor. So you need to ask your doctor anything that you hear here. The American Migraine Foundation is an amazing organization that helps us. And if you want to start, you just go on there. So here's another thing I did. Again, I'm older than many of you. I'm not saying I'm wiser. I just have had many more migraines, right? Who can beat me? I've had 9,000. I'd like to hear if any of you can beat me. Somebody might. So one of the things that I do, and again, there's always the other voice in your head that says, I can't do that. I can't do that. Well, think out of the box. You don't have to do this. You could do something else. I'm really not trying to be uplifting or positive. I just really believe this, and I truly believe that's why I can do this Instagram live, right? I don't have a migraine right now, which is unbelievable. So what I would do is every quarter, like every 3 months, from 8 to 12 on one day, I put it on my calendar. I put it in my, my digital calendar, and I say health day. And I keep an online file and also a paper file. And for those 3 months, I just stick stuff in it. Or maybe you keep a list on your phone. Oh, I'd like to get the letter from my doctor. Oh, I think I'd like to get this from Amazon, this silly little fan, and put it in a migraine bag in my car. Oh, I think I should always have these cold packs with me wherever I go, which I do, wherever I go. And, then on your health day, you tell everybody, listen, I'm busy. Do not disturb. Shut the door. Now, in your head, let's say you say, I can't. I'm a mom. I'm a dad. I have to take care of my kids. I have to work. Then find 4 1-hour slots. Then find 15-minute slot. Like there is always, always, always a way to prepare. Okay? Even if you don't have time or money, there is a way to do it if you want to do it. Sometimes, honestly, it was easier when I was younger to just say, woe is me, I'm a victim, because it sucks and because nobody understands it. But the truth is, what does that actually do for me? It keeps me in pain, not living my life. So really, really important. I'm not saying try to be positive. I'm just saying don't beat yourself up. If you can have a health day or a health hour, and you know from 10 to 11 tomorrow morning, you're going to look at that list, okay? And you could even watch these other Instagram lives. I'm doing 5 of them. Just go through them. You'll have a list of about 85 to 100 things you can try, okay? Out of 85 to 100, I guarantee you 6 to 8 are going to be things you like. Will they completely get rid of every migraine you have? No, probably not. I hope so. But will they reduce it? Yes. I believe in incremental change. I actually believe that in every facet of my life. If I'm just going for the big guns and I have to go from 30 migraines a month to 0, and I think that's what I'm going to have to do, why would I even try? But if I can go from 30 to 28 to 26, maybe back to 28, and then who knows, all of a sudden I'm at 10. How's that? I mean, we all know. So, Kelly, I'm glad you think they're great ideas. 41 years since the 3rd grade. Oh, you beat me by 6 years. All right, you want to go through what's in my little bag before we're done? These are just little things I collected over the years. I am not hawking anybody's, I should have probably even covered the name of the items, but I want you to be able to find them. I'm not a doctor. You check with your doctor, please. How do we watch or watch your live Instagrams? Well, hopefully you're watching it now. It's this Tuesday, so we've had 2. It's now. Next Tuesday, there's not one on the 29th. I don't even know what the date is today. Do you have that problem too, where you can't remember a single thing because your brain is just mashed? Anyway, the next one, you just go on American Migraine Foundation. Just go on this Instagram, on their, and they list when they are. The next one is about migraine and travel. And I have a lot of great stuff for that. And the last one is when your child has a migraine, or if your child gets a migraine. And I'm just going to throw one thing out that I think is remarkable. Thank you for all the hearts. That's very sweet. Do you know that, when kids have colic, and if you're a parent, they have colic. Now they're 17, and you discover, because you go online and read about a recent study, that they actually could have had migraine disease as a baby, but they can't tell you. So they're screaming because their head hurts. It's crazy. So I have lots of great stuff to tell you then as well. Okay. Anyway, here's a bunch of stuff that you might like. If ice makes you feel better, I invented this thing called a migraine hat. Like I said last time, I should have probably looked in between. I'm not even sure it's still available, but there are all kinds of migraine-ish hats. Headache hat, ice cap. I saw something on Shark Tank. There are a lot of them. So this is a thing with ice in it. You put it like this and you can make it really tight. I've noticed that some people love tight things on their head and others hate, that's me, tight things on their head when they have a migraine. Again, we're all different. What a lot of people do is just put this on. I would go to the gym with it. I don't care if it's the middle of the summer. I don't really care anymore. And that often comes with age, but it also comes with not giving a crap. At some point, you just want to feel better. So anyway, what people do, they've taken it, to the level of a science. They get in the shower, they cover this with a shower cap. So now their head is like dulled with ice. And then they have the heat coming down and, calming them down. Some people put eucalyptus oil in the shower. And so what does that do? Does that get rid of a migraine? Probably not. But I know when I take a rescue medicine and it takes 40 minutes for it to kick in, if I'm in the shower doing this, it dulls it enough till the medication kicks in. And for some people, it reduces it enough for you to fall asleep. Okay, so that's one thing that's cool. Some people put the ice on their head and then they put their feet in a hot bucket of water. And that seems to help a lot of people. Okay, I told you a few times, there's no excuse for not having one of these in your car, in your luggage. I'm trying to think. I have it everywhere, at work. And these are instant cold packs. And I just slam it. And I got it. It only lasts like 15 minutes, but it gets me to the other side. I always have water, so I can take my pills. And this is something I'm so proud of. This is my own personal hack. And I know you guys all have your own. If I'm working, once I told this before, but I had an interview with the Wall Street Journal for my job, my regular day job. And I had a terrible migraine and I called them and said, listen, or I emailed them, I'm sure, and said, I'm going to meet you at the restaurant, we said, pre-COVID, but when you get there, I have something to tell you. So they get there and I say, look, I have a really, really bad migraine, but I've had migraines every day of my life. So I'm going to take this can of soda and put it here in my eye, because I don't know about you, I get migraines in one eye or the other. I'm going to stick it here, and do not feel sorry for me. I'm just going to keep talking. And I was able to do the entire interview for the Wall Street Journal having a can in my eye. Sure, the other diners wondered what I was doing. But the great thing about this is that, I've had situations where I was on the road, and then I had something I must do, and I had a throbbing, awful migraine. And I would go into a convenience store and just buy a cold can and just do this. Now, when you want to get it to the level of a science, you get the little cans, those little mini ones, because they fit your eye perfectly. So this is mine. The other thing is, many of us have issues about smells. It automatically triggers a migraine. And I don't know about you guys, but when I'm in an Uber or a taxi and they have that Christmas tree thing, the deodorizer, I write to Uber constantly and say, you have to ban those. But anyway, in your migraine bag that you keep in your car or wherever you keep it, I have something, you just put it in your face. Let's say you go into a department store or a candle shop, or sometimes you don't know where you're going to be. You just go like this. Again, who cares what people think? Especially now with masks on all the time. And this also doubles as a thing where you put it in water and then you wear it as a gaiter and it keeps you cold when you're outside at your kid's game or some track meet. I also have essential oils, which I never even thought of until I started the Daily Migraine, and everybody says they use it. This is eucalyptus. You use a carrier oil and mix them together and whatever. But you put it, a lot of people put it here, 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 here. Some people put it here, even though it is like, peppermint. Okay, this is a stop pain migraine. This is a cream. And you could put it here, here. I don't actually care what my hair looks like when I have a migraine if I want to feel better. So I just rub it into my hair until the whole thing is like tingling. Does this get rid of my migraine? Not me, but it dulls it and it takes the edge off. And if I can go from an 8 to a 6, heck, I can function. You guys know that. We can handle pain better than almost anyone. What else do I have in my fun box? I have well-patched migraine, cooling patches, be cool. I got icy hot. I've got peppermint tea. Okay, like you might say, so what does that do? Maybe nothing. If I drink hot tea, my migraine will get worse. If I drink cold tea, iced tea, it doesn't get worse. Sometimes it gets better. Sometimes I just hold it against my face, the glass itself. A lot of people have ginger chews, right? Because you feel nauseous. The other thing we talked about next time, and I am not recommending this for anyone who's pre-diabetic or diabetic or has a sugar issue or anything like that. But a lot of people swear by a McDonald's full Coke, okay? And I know because this always happens, you guys are going to say, oh, I have that. Some people swear by the orange Gatorade, okay? Some people swear by like Soda Stream, and they use it. I don't even know. I think I know what it is. I've seen it on the commercials, but who cares? If it helps you, that's all we care about. Now, did we get off the topic of migraine in the ER? Yes, I did that intentionally because that is not an hour-long topic. I think if you go back, you'll get all the main points. I want to tell you guys, I hope you come to the next one, which is migraine and travel. I got a lot of great ones because I've certainly been on the bathroom floor in a hotel many times writhing in pain, and I couldn't take it. So I have a lot of good tips for you, and I can't wait to hear what your tips are. Deb says ginger ale settles her stomach. Yeah, actually me too. So I always have ginger ale at home, and I can double by putting it on my eye in the can before I open it. Anyway, you guys, the quick thumbnail sketch summary of this topic before we go, migraine and ER, is plan, prepare. And if you do those things, if you land in the ER, you will have the best experience possible. Also think it's really important not to just show up at the ER and feel like a victim, especially now that you know all the many things you can do, okay? I think the most important of all is to have a letter from your doctor that says that you're legit and you are a real migraine, a person with migraine, and that you've been being treated X amount of years, and here's what they can do, and here's my phone number. Okay? If you can have someone go with you who already is prepared and understands this whole thing, even better. If you can bring a migraine bag with you, like I said, that has all this stuff that's going to make you feel better while your advocate's inside the ER and you're sitting in a nice, cool car or, eating ginger chews or whatever it is you got to do, spraying yourself, don't laugh at me, spraying yourself with rose water to just do anything to not suffer, then that's what you do, okay? And so I challenge you to write in here right now the one thing that you're going to do today or tonight or whatever the time difference is, so that if you have to go to the ER, you will be prepared. All right, guys, it's been great. This is Lisa Jacobson with the American Migraine Foundation, and I can't wait to see you at our next Insta Live and talk about travel and migraine. Thanks, guys, for listening. Bye-bye.